introduction.
Okay, one more time.
I'm not getting the live. It's okay. I guess it's going. I don't have the countdown. Okay, here it is. I see it over here. Now, THeresa, go.
Okay, welcome aboard, all you ground troops spinning around smartly on the planet. Smartly with us, as we used to say, mill about smartly in the military when you didn't have anything to do, but you're supposed to look busy. So we would mill about smartly.
Mill about smartly. Oh,
yeah. So we call people on this planet that don't know who they are or what their purpose is or where they're going. They haven't got their mission yet. Is those that just are milling about smartly on the planet. Now, we're going to talk today about various other things that may or may not have been on the planet while you lived here, but things that happened prior to, and what we do with ancient wisdom and new thought teachings in our group, ACO Club, and ACO Association.com, and now hybridgenies.com, because Janet Carroll Lesson is a producer, director, speaker, and fluent writer, and she has Substack. She has, I think, dragonattheendofTime.com. Hi, Matt McIntosh showed up. And she and her husband together have InkySpeaks.com. And we appreciate you tuning in finally. If you tune in on my channels, mine are TJ Morris Agency and TJ Morris Show and TheresaJMorris.com. So Janet Carroll Lesson has always been one that likes to help people and become educated. So she keeps our shows under education. So I hope you like open source intelligence, because that's what we do here. Okay. We are not the closed AI. We are the open AI, friendly hybrid genies. So it's your turn, Janet.
Okay, so I had a false start here. Sorry, I thought we were broadcasting and it didn't take. I don't know.
We started at 4:30 instead of 4 my time.
Right, now we're a half hour late. But anyway, we're going to go for about an hour, and then I'm going to get busy with the people wanting lunch. So enough personal story. So this is based on, it's called The Merge. And I'm going to put this big so I can read the writing. So we're talking about the field and ask what happens when memory, secrecy, science fiction, and contact begins to recognize one another. This episode explores J. Allen Hynek, the 3 Jesse Marcells, Star Trek conferences, and the classified edge of contact. So we were starting with how this article came about because THeresa gave me an idea based on an article where she was taken to meet Jesse Marcel. But let's go back a little bit to J. Allen Hynek and recapture that. Let me see where I have that. Let me see this here. First of all, for many years, I went to Star Trek conferences in 74, 75, and there were 2 in New York and 1 in Pittsburgh that I attended. And on the panel was J. Allen Hynek, Gene Roddenberry, Isaac Asimov, and Robert A. Heinlein. So we're going to talk a little bit about each of those, but we're going to start with Hynek. Let me see where I have a picture of Hynek. That's one there. There's J. Allen Hynek. So let's go back a little bit and talk about, you met J. Allen Hynek on a military base. You'll have to tell that story again. Sorry, we're repeating ourselves, but go ahead, THeresa.
Okay.
What was that about? Why in the world did J. Allen Hynek come over and want to talk to THeresa J. Morris? I don't know what name you were going by back then, because both of us have had 3 marriages or more.
Yeah, my maiden name was Thurmond, and I was under that. But I had written him several letters to Chicago Center for UFO Studies prior, because I'd had contact and I needed some answers, and I wasn't going to get them from my family or NASA. I tried, although I did meet with some UFO Association people as an adult before or after, about the same time I met him. All this was going on. They were having a UFO meeting out at NASA where my husband had worked earlier. He was a NASA government employee for Chris Kraft, and I was taken in as a Cosmos ambassador, like a solar ambassador, to market and PR basically free, because I'd done Houston PR with the Houston Spinnerets. So Chris Kraft himself took me and asked me, because he was bringing my husband on during the Vietnam War, 1968, to NASA, or right at 1967 when he graduated. He had 5 degrees offered at different locations, including Texas State, which he was considering. But NASA, his father worked at Grumman, so he put him on there. So it could be through several avenues. But while I was with the Houston Spinnerets, I'd also figured out how to fill out the government paper. We were in the Houston Chronicle, so why it would be Ginger T. Thurmond at the time in the paper, but my name was Theresa J. Thurmond, and that's just all being put together now for people, because I wrote books and I wrote about all this UFO stuff for the UFO Digest. But J. Allen Hynek was with the. He was a very intelligent person, and he was actually the center of UFO studies that I wrote to. He was the director of that, and when I went into the military and in the Navy, I told him I did, and so that may or may not have been a way for them to communicate. But since I filled out OPM, Office of Personnel Management, and the intelligence community, I was very smart. After growing up, having all this extraterrestrial, I'd been out of body, near death experience. I was following Ingo Schwann and all these people to do with higher mind. And later on, it becomes SRI and Stargate. But I got involved, Janet, I believe, because I was in the newspaper. I was standing there like I just graduated high school, and I was in a red military airline looking suit, and all that chronicle being that published in the newspaper, big old ad for the Houston Spinnerets,
Right.
and that we were the official hostess, because Chris Kraft saw it and offered me a position as Cosmos ambassador. Like you'd met Ralph Kennedy Johnston Sr.
Right.
with
Right.
me, and so he was the solar ambassador. I was a Cosmos ambassador. So anyway, all we were to do was to help market and PR. As we were in and out of NASA, I had a government, I guess, clearance to go on and off base. I met astronauts and PR'd and went to the movie.
Well, let me put in one of the reasons that I've heard your story, not everything, of course, but most of it, and the reason why they recruited you is because you were able to toss knives, real sharp knives, up in the air, twirl around 3 times, and catch them.
Yeah,
and,
that too.
And that blew the mind of some people. Like, why isn't she getting sliced and diced? And then you were taken to the audience after your performance and introduced to some man in the audience.
Black, yeah, they were
one of the men in black.
A government official, yeah.
And then later, when you were watching at the movie theater, you're watching one of the James Bond films, they kind of corralled you out the side door, the men in black, and they asked if you two wanted to be agents, like James Bond.
Yeah,
right.
What was that, Fireball or something?
Yeah,
yeah, you're right.
Fun.
So we've discussed all that in prior videos. If
right.
Anybody
it's okay
wants
to repeat it, because people have. It's hard to track, because I've done over 1,200 videos, not to mention all the ones you've done. So I can't remember it all. But so there seems to be like a recruitment program where, and I've tracked this with clients that I've had over the years, where they find kids that have psychic abilities, and they come and get you, and before you know it, you're in their program, but you don't know you're in the program. And then they kind of guide you and maybe lead you into, come work for NASA. So your husband at the time, he got a bunch of scholarships, or how did he end up working for NASA?
I don't know, except that his dad worked there.
And
I know that he went down and he was RE1 or E1 during the drafting. Back then, boys had to go in the war, and they were drafted
Right.
into the
Yeah.
military. So I guess it wasn't. I don't know if it was an honorable thing or not, but I know he was scared to death. He was a little skinny guy, 6 feet, maybe 150 pounds. And he said he got butt naked down in front. I'll never forget that. It's the first time I'd ever heard that. And it
Right.
stuck with me ever since.
Where was he butt naked? In front of the draft board?
Oh, yeah. It was at the same building I was recruited in again or rehired.
Right.
Yeah, it's downtown. It was in the
Well, I
federal
think
building.
he's a super genius, and they didn't want him to go off to war to be killed because they wanted him to be in this program.
NASA program. Yeah, because
The
he
NASA
wound up
program.
he wound up working as a lot of the contractors were jealous of him because he came in over them, and his dad was in Grumman Engineering, and all our neighbors worked for TRW, which I wound up working for TRW, and then TRW Record Data later. So, Brad Marcus did show up. Yay,
Hi,
Brad.
Brad. Hi, Brad.
Wow. Hi, Brad. Brad Marcus has been on with us. Brad, we're telling a little, let me say hi, Brad. This is
Okay.
important because we have some people that really helped us through the years. And Brad Marcus and Janet and I were all speakers for the Alien Contact event. Is that the name of it? Oh, Alien Event. Is it just Alien Event, Janet?
Yeah, Alien Event. I believe so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we helped Saeed Farman back in 1994-5. He said, hi, ladies, when we were doing the Pythagoras
No, I
conference.
think that was early
Law
2012.
of One.
2012 or
Oh,
14,
excuse me.
15, 14, 13. Anyway, time goes by and all this becomes a blur. But let's stay with the story because this is really important.
Okay,
So
you got
we're
from skepticism to serious inquiry. Okay, so Allen
Okay.
Hynek knew I was in all that stuff that Janet said.
Here, let me
What
let
she
me put
said.
let me just put this big. So Hynek began cautiously, then recognizes that some cases deserve real investigation. Anyway, so we're tracking down the history of all this stuff, and we're taking it from the personal to the global because we have our own stuff that happened with us. So yours was where you were kind of recruited.
Due to psychic
Or-
abilities.
and
Sort of
based on your psychic
SRI.
abilities and your
I'm an Air Force
ability
guy.
to not get stabbed by whirling knives and doing things that were a little bit outside of the
The norm.
ordinary.
Yeah, twirling fires, machetes, yeah, 3
Right.
batons. Yeah, I was pretty skilled. So TJ had got skills.
Right.
Teresa Jeanette Thurman.
Now, let's stay on track. I had a couple questions. I'm going to pull us back to the Hynek thing. So, Hynek came to us through a long path of life, right? And I don't have his whole history, but he ended up coming to the Star Trek conferences. Let's see if I have a slide on that. Here we go. So I was this young girl. I was there with Gene Roddenberry. That's supposed to be Hynek, Roddenberry, Asimov, and Heinlein.
Yeah.
And so that was in 74, 75. Two of the conferences were in New York City. One was in Pittsburgh. I was 20 years old for the first one. I turned 21. It was the weekend of my birthday. I literally turned 21 at the Star Trek conference.
Aww.
So it was amazing. And but
so that was historic for you. Historic, right?
And they were talking about the future, which is now. And if you take into account the secret space program and the stuff that our government and the military and all the powers that be have been hiding, we are probably much further along than the reality we have now. I think that the secret space program, based on all the people I've talked to over the years, the whistleblowers, the experiencers, people in the 20 back program, attending excuse me, over 20 years of conferences, Star Trek science fiction and UFO conferences with all kinds of people. The picture that we have in our SSP UFO community is much broader than the one that is being presented to us in the real world. But the point I had before. Let's see if I have it still queued up here. So Robert Heinlein is one of our keys. Was born in 1907, died May 88 in Carmel, California. He was a science fiction author, engineer, and former U.S. Navy officer. He was often called the Dean of Science Fiction. He attended the U.S. Naval Academy at Annapolis, graduated in 1929, served as a naval officer in the 30s. He developed tuberculosis, which ended his Navy career, but he went from the official program to a civilian engineer during World War II at the Philadelphia Navy Yard alongside other science fiction writers such as Isaac Asimov and L. Sprague de Camp. So my hypothesis is that these people were the early, I don't know what you call them, whistleblowers, people that were educating the public. So when I was a little girl,
it's still public relations,
right? And they were preparing us along with in 1951. Which was Roswell was 47, so they needed something there. It takes usually about a year or two before the movie gets released. So let's say 49, 50, and then the movie got released 51. They were preparing the world based on The Day the Earth Stood Still, which was Robert Wise. And then they were, Asimov and Heinlein were all working together during World War II, which was 43, 44, 45, right? And then they started emerging in the science fiction world. All these people writing science fiction. They all worked together in this, the Philadelphia Naval, in the Navy. The Navy is related to Navy intelligence, right? There's a huge intelligence aspect of
you could say that, yeah.
You could say that. A lot of people say that. I say that.
Well, we've got 16 to 18, depending on who you ask, if they include the
so they started this program of children's books. Asimov, Heinlein, I don't know about Sprague Camp, but they wrote children's books. So I'm 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 years old. I'm finding these science fiction stories which are talking about the future. And I'm so stoked by the time September, whatever it was, 1966, when Star Trek came on the air. So that took a year or two before it became a series. So we have all this stuff that's preparing us for the future, which is now. So you were in what was the year you met Hynek? So 85. Hynek finds you in 85. He's dead by 86 or something.
Yeah,
and so he finds you. And he comes and says, let's go for a ride. Tell us about that. Let's go back to that.
That's on the military base.
Right.
So that's when he came out to meet me at Lowry Air Force Base. He was hopefully getting another Air Force contract that, he worked with, but he was getting a new office in Denver, and I was to meet his new secretary, which now she's died, but I was supposed to try to get her on a show within the time frame from 20. Well, anyway, it doesn't matter. I never did. Sharon, I think, was her name, but Jan Aldrich covered that for me on TJMRCT radio. We'll pull in the UFO Association data from that. But what we're doing now, it'll be on Intel anyway, open source intelligence. But I met him.
Got you, and he took you out somewhere. Where did you drive to?
Not very far. He took me from the office where I was working in uniform. I had to wear whites instead of my blue jeans. Like when I met Jesse Marcel, I was in blue.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later.
Okay. But when I met Allen Hynek, I was in my white uniform, and he took me out and parked me along the tarmac, which was strange because first of all, I didn't know who he was. I didn't know. He didn't tell me who he was. They just called me down out of my where your barracks, and I went down, and they called me down. They sent a runner up, and said a man was here to talk to me. So I met him. He shook my hand, and he said he was with. I don't even know who. I don't remember who he said he was with, but when I take a little ride with him, so it was little too. It just ran over the tarmac. But he said, I understand you've got a Q clearance. And I was like, Q, what's that? But I remember he said,
what is Q clearance for our listeners?
I don't know. Nuclear, I don't know anymore, Janet, because I've been out so long. But okay. Q was separate. I think it was like a government. We'll have to look it up because I was already. That's what messed me up too. That's what I said because I was already working in confidential, secret, top secret, special access programs. I knew about all that because I'd already been trained on mission and how we handle classified, in and out of country. And I just came in from Africa and the embassy there, and then the embassy in the UK, in Britain, in London. So
Right.
I knew clearance levels, but I don't remember ever hearing Q. But it turned out Q had to do with anything nuclear, the nuclear test site in TS, I guess, there near Vegas. I don't even know what that's called anymore. Nevada test range or something where they used to do the bombs. But apparently it gave me where I could come and go off of these bases where they have hazmat conditions or hazardous material conditions. And he seemed to know and met me later on a jet between Lowry Air Force and Edwards Air Force Base and maybe Chicago O'Hare. But I know I told a story where I only remembered meeting him on a jet in space, but I put it together that he was.
You're talking about a different, a secret space jet or a regular
I don't
plane?
know. I don't know.
Sure.
I don't know anymore, to be honest with you, because what's civilian and what was in 3D reality on this thread is made different from the mirrored universe we may or may not be in now. But I discussed the 2.5 million light year difference between Milky Way and Andromeda. So when we speak, that's why I've got that pyramid behind me. The waves and the plasma waves that come in are very, very different now than they were even prior to May 28th of this year. Everything started happening in AI, and it's amazing. So apparently, because I'd written some letters to J. Allen Hynek, I think he had those on file.
He had those, and he looked you.
I don't know.
I didn't. You out. I had a military personnel when I was on Johnson Atoll take me out to the tarmac to have a private conversation.
Yeah.
Probably, maybe he didn't want to be overheard or listened in. Yeah, maybe that's why he drove you.
Yeah, we didn't carry cell phones in the 80s. So.
No, right. They weren't out yet.
World. But just like that, talking about what we have now compared to then, you and I came from that world of Gene Roddenberry with the flip phones and data and all that. So
we didn't have flip phones when Gene Roddenberry was doing Star Trek. We didn't have any portable phones, not in the regular world. But that's why people were saying when Star Trek had the communicators and they flipped them open, it's like, are we going to have that someday? And of course we've got,
we do.
We have that, and even beyond that, right? So, all right. So, what other things did you take away from your Hynek? Did he say he was going to?
I think that
conversation with you, or
yeah, he told me about his work and he'd like me to carry it on and help. And he didn't go into great detail, but by the time I put together what he told me, and he had me move to the back of the plane, I was reading Ruth Montgomery, Aliens Among Us. And for some reason that was important. But I agreed that sure, I would help him in any way I could. And he told me about, he didn't have a crew or anything. He only had a few people, and he was supposed to be getting a new contract. And I don't think he may or may not have known Jan Aldrich. I don't know if he did. I don't even know. That may have come up in some of the TJMRCT radio data. So from what I could assume, it was to get me. I wonder if he already knew I'd talked to Jesse Marcel. See, these are things I don't know. I couldn't. He died, so I can't go. He's on the other side.
Ask him. He's on the other side.
I can ask him on the other side, but yeah, sitting here like that. Yeah, this is not true, folks. I never. Oh, I see what you're doing. You've got us sitting at a desk, and we were in an automobile or a jet. Yeah. So
yeah, I didn't have how you were meeting, but anyway,
Oh, okay.
I,
Yeah,
I
I
work with
see.
AI, and AI makes up stuff.
Yeah.
But I always think it's funny. It's like part of me goes, well, maybe they know something that I don't.
Good,
Uh,
Brad.
maybe you guys did meet later because
Yeah.
as a contact the experiencers, there's all these mind wipes that we go through. Yeah,
The mind is a funny thing. Now, we
mind
wanted
is a
an
funny
office
thing.
like this in Denver, and we talked about it. And he had another man or two with him on the last time we talked.
On the
And I don't
plane,
remember
or was it
on the
which was first?
plane.
The plane was the last time you talked, and you're not sure if this was
I don't
a
know which came
commercial.
before or after.
You don't know which
I
came
do
before or
not know.
after. Yeah,
I just know. I mean, I can remember them in my mind and see it explicitly, and so I know these happen in 3D reality in my lifetime on my life
right.
thread as we're here as flame keepers and history, and we keep the wisdom, and it goes through every epoch and every, I guess, civilization, and that's our job here. So I guess because I had all the skills with extraterrestrials and I'd already been, NASA knew I was visited. Plus, my husband was in the uh, control room when they said bogey 10 o'clock high.
Okay, so
And
let's cover that a little bit.
all right,
So your husband. So I think I covered it, but let's go over it again. You were recruited because you were doing the
we were
spinneret.
both
You
intelligent.
were
Yeah,
both intelligent, and you had obvious psychic abilities, and you were twirling knives
yeah.
and fire and not getting hurt, and then you got taken
Talking to people with
to a
NASA.
man that was in the audience, and he was a Men in Black. And then after the James Bond movie, you and your future husband saw, you guys got corralled out the side door by two Men in Black, and they said, "Do you want to be part of this? Do you
Whatever it
want to be like
was.
James Bond? Do you want to be like James Bond?" So
Yeah,
then your first husband worked at
Steve. He
Steve.
wouldn't
His
make a
father worked at
decision.
NASA. He
He
would
he
make a decision at that meeting. Is
he.
that what you're
Yeah,
saying?
and I'm pretty sure that the smoking man was in the Air Force, but he stood at the bottom of the stairs like on X Files, and I love that because we
Hmm.
work with so many writers off of that show. That's been on our radio shows, TGMRCT radio shows. Our when we did Cosmos on Revolution, sometimes we
Right.
don't we get them mixed up, but yeah, that was important,
Well, we've
very
done
very
over
important to me.
1,200 shows. I forget where we were. We've talked to other people. They've interviewed us. We've interviewed them. A lot of these people are no longer with us, and so there's
Yeah,
this
Stanton's
huge
gone.
archive on Aquarian Media on YouTube. And anyway, you have all your YouTubes, and anyway, it's
Mm,
out there. We've been doing our part to
no,
document this
some of
since
them.
2012.
They
Some
take
of
a
them
lot of
got
them
taken
down.
down. They got
Yeah,
taken down.
both of
Maybe said
us.
down at the same
Or
time.
they just disappeared. I don't know what
I don't
YouTube
know.
went through
Yeah.
or algorithm went through,
But let's
but it
go
was
back to, so your first husband's name was what?
Stephen Lee Parrish, Parrish.
And
Yeah,
he was working for NASA. What was his role at NASA? And what
uh,
years was this?
engineer. Well, his dad was engineer for Grumman, but he worked in Cocoa Beach, but they transferred to Houston, NASA, where I met him, and he used to take me to school in his car, and he was the head senior drum major, and I was the spinneret with Nella Abel, who I still stay in touch with. Uh, she through Carnival Cruises, where she worked in that command. But
Right.
all right, so Stephen Lee Parrish, I married him. We had 4 daughters. Then later on, I married uh, Senior Chief Philip S. Havelka, Havelka. So a lot of my government papers were messed up from my maiden name to my married name Parrish to my married name Havelka, and then changed it, my IDs. And then after Havelka, I was married to GS-13 Gerald Orr engineer Gerald Wayne ORR, and his son David, which is Kavika Orr from Hawaii, now works at NNTS, oddly enough, on the secret naval base, the naval, not nuclear, in
Right.
outside Las Vegas. So that's still there. And I have a
So you
stepson
tended to
living there.
marry people in the military, and then these people were also involved some, if not all, with the
And then
secret
Thomas Ray
program.
Morris, he was an
And-
agent, CIA agent.
Right.
Thomas
So-
Ray Morris was staff sergeant to under Colin Powell and the other guy. What was his name?
So what I get from all this is when you're in this program, you're in the program, whether you know it or not, and you don't really get out. You're in it for life.
Yeah, I kept at least going up in stature. In levels of the government when I married men. But Thomas Ray Morris being the CIA agent, and he had gotten to be the Queen liked him. The Queen liked him. She danced with him.
Oh, he went and met Elizabeth.
Yeah, he met
so let's Queen. Go back in time because we're time traveling here. We went all the way from your past to your last husband. And these are all we're going to have to take this one by one and unpack it and
over 20 years
follow your life. But women tend to do that. The women of our generation. I was born in 54. Teresa,
I thought I was supposed to be married.
We always thought, well, our mother told us if you're not married, you're not a valid human being, right?
Our mothers were secretaries working, but they were married. And
oh no, my mother was a housewife. She never worked outside of the home, and my whole neighborhood was full of housewives. None of them worked outside of the home. Maybe a little bit during World War II, but as soon as the men came home, they were to be popping out babies and taking care of them.
Your dad worked for the U.S. Post Office. Was your government affiliation? He
also was in the World War II, so he was active military in Italy, and he served his full term there, and then he finally came home. Actually, my grandmother had 6 boys, and all of her boys, except for the last one, all of them went into the military, and all of them came home, which is pretty amazing, right?
Right.
Now, back to your first parish husband, worked in NASA, and so from what I remember with our story, there was the official control room, which was on the TV cameras, and then there was the other control room that your first husband worked in. And
he could come and go. I got to go in the control room and visit, and I went, on the up there where they have the viewing, probably for people, important people.
Were you in the official one or the secret one?
Yeah, the original one, and then the one you saw on TV. Plus, Steve and the secretarial pool got the transcripts and listened like we got these headsets on. Mm-hmm. They would type it in the 60s, the typing pool. So, so I got to be up there and do that type of intelligence work.
So did he get the communications where they were talking
from
about
the astronauts direct? Yeah, before they were scraped or erased.
Okay, so scrape means they centered them. So this has the communications with bogies and
everything on them.
Did they land on the moon?
As far as I know, all that was real.
Were they greeted?
In my mind.
Were they greeted by? I have selected by extraterrestrials by Bill Tompkins, and I talked to him extensively at his last presentation before he died.
No, you talked to me while Gigi was dying in Florida. Remember?
Yeah, I talked to
Paula
him.
Harris.
I keep talking. Yeah,
Paula Harris was having an event.
What Tompkins said is that when they landed on the moon, they were greeted by a bunch of spaceships. And did that ever come through in anything that you've listened to or transcribed?
I did not hear that personally, but my husband talked about stuff that they was so unbelievable they couldn't talk about it. And so my own husband was scared to talk about it. But him and his dad would talk about stuff, UFOs.
Now his dad, both your husband and his father are dead, correct?
Right, yes.
All right. So are you at liberty to discuss any of this or...
What do you mean? You
mean things that
my life?
The things that because this is your lived experience. So he finally told you some things.
No, they both would talk behind my back, even though they both knew I had psychic abilities and that NASA was very interested in me because of Chris Kraft. Mm-hmm. So his dad, although loved me very much and our children, they built a big home. Because of the TVA and parish name in Tennessee was highly regarded. They all had got a lot of money and built a big house with a swimming pool for my kids. It was a very big thing in Birmingham, Alabama. But no, that even later they would talk more back in the 60s, but later on in the 80s. And then he was still working for the government then. And he did things in Florida. He moved to Florida. And that's where he retired, West Palm Beach area, I think. Still buried there.
So this is your
Steve.
first husband. Steve.
Yeah, Steve and I were the ones that were actively recruited for government through government. I'd actually signed government paperwork back then. They didn't have, I didn't see any computers around, not until the 80s in the military. And so they gave me a K-Pro, metal K-Pro, like the first laptop. Carried it around. We did DOS on it. We had a little green screen. That was fun. But at the time I was in school, I became an investigator and had personnel information security certificates. So that's what gave me my background in investigations. And so I started investigative services. Now that's when the husband was Stephen Lee Parrish that came and got me when Reagan was shot. So Steve didn't know anything about my investigative services.
So you were, when Reagan was shot, you were married to Stephen still?
Yeah, Stephen Lee Parrish.
So here, tell us that one. What happened?
We went 79, 80 to the Washington, D.C. We were Mormons, Latter-day Saints. So we went, my father, Thurman, back then, Strom Thurmond had helped my brother, Nathaniel Thurmond, and Charles Thurmond went to see him. And all that's, my brother Hugh knows that story very well. But Charles Houston, and he doesn't talk too much about certain things in the family. But anyway, Charles Thurmond. Now, my father took us to the Washington, D.C. temple, and that's when my eyes were really opened to a lot of things that they don't talk about.
What was there that your eyes were opened about?
A lot of things about our government in the United States of America.
Is there anything you can discuss and tell us here today?
Only that Joseph Smith was a Mason.
Right. There you go.
That's about as close. I don't care what anybody else says. Just like Washington wore the apron that you see, so did Joseph Smith.
Well,
now you go figure out the rest.
My great uncle was Gideon Wells, and so all those people, he was Lincoln's Secretary of the Navy. So, my family's been in the military since the beginning, since the Revolutionary War and all the way back to the War of the Roses.
Well, that's common knowledge. But as far as what's in the temple, no, I would never discuss what's in the temple.
Okay, you're not going to discuss
it. You can watch it on YouTube. I don't have to.
Okay.
It's all on YouTube now.
Well, we'll find the YouTube. Well, I'm going to investigate that.
And the housewives of Salt Lake. There's all kind of Mormons now. All kind of
right, but I'm talking about the extraterrestrial connection. I'm looking at all the extraterrestrial.
Oh, there's extraterrestrial connection through Joseph Smith.
Right. Anyway, this is too cryptic. I can't follow it unless you're going to give me more information. I'll have hours in the day.
The angel Moroni, that would be an extraterrestrial, right?
Right. He's an extraterrestrial. So the angels are actually extraterrestrials, and so we all talk about angels, and there's the extraterrestrials right there. And we go, but they're God's angels. But what are angels? They're extraterrestrials. They're not Terran. They're not terrestrial. They're not. They're extra, or they're dimensional or something. They're not.
Louise can tell you.
Louise has dementia. She doesn't remember anything. She's got dementia, so I can't get it from her.
Well, anyway, she used to talk to you about Kolob.
I know, but she's gone girl. She's got.
Well, let me put it this way: in the spiritual science community, everybody is on their own spiritual path, and they have their own perception and filters about what reality is. And so the key is to be a good person and be, in the earth, but are on the earth, but not of it. And there's some beautiful extraterrestrial lessons, and the most beautiful pictures I've ever seen were in the temple like that, and in the different temples, like the one you've got up there. Oh my God, that's beautiful, right? But it may or may not match perfectly their ideas, but similar, just like many world religions do believe in extraterrestrials, angels,
Right.
extraterrestrials, beings from another place in space. Now, how the future puts that together, you and I have studied all world religions, like most people,
Well, we're
you know,
about to
Zen,
see
Buddhism.
the next level with the Disclosure Day on June 12th. I hope it really is worth the hype, but there's lots of things coming down about that, and so we're connecting the dots there. But the one dot and I don't want to forget this, is your first husband came to you and got you because Reagan had been shot. Why was that? Why did he come
Why
and
was
get
he
you?
shot?
No,
Well,
why did your
I know
husband
the
come and
truth.
got you? Why? Well, we'll do
Oh,
that. But
because I was left by government personnel sitting in a hotel, the Holiday Inn in Birmingham, Alabama,
and what was that
to
about?
watch a screen, Nobody would tell me anything,
What
but
screen were you watching?
a
Was it the
television screen in a bar at the
and
Holiday
and
Inn.
and you
This
were to
really
watch the
happened.
screen? And
And
what
nobody
was
ever told me not to mention it. So I
what was
guess
on the
it's
screen that you had to watch?
Reagan being shot. How
Oh,
was I sitting?
they sat
Yes.
you down right in time to see Reagan being shot.
Well, I
And
had
then
to
what,
wait for a while. I was there like an hour and a half before it all happened.
and they knew
But
Reagan was going to get shot.
but I don't know if I don't know if the
Ah,
bartender was in on it or not, but nobody would talk to me. I was
they knew
alone.
Reagan was going
I
to get
sat there, and
shot.
they all no, not necessarily, but when
Not
they got
necessarily. It was a
shot, they all left.
coincidence.
People scattered. Nobody else. There was people that were just customers, you know, from the airport or
Uh-huh.
for Holiday Inn, sitting in there talking, waiting for their flight or whatever. But man, everybody scattered, and I had no way to get home because I was dropped off. My
Okay.
car was probably at my office,
Right.
or I don't even know, at home. But believe me, life
Okay,
changed.
so you were over there because you went to the temple. Your eyes opened because the temple. You were in a bar, and Reagan got shot. Like it was
I
it
don't
was
like the fact that I
orchestrated.
was in a bar because back then Mormons didn't smoke, drink, or drug.
Right
But
now, you're in a bar.
that's where they took me the closest
Right. Well,
TV set to my
They have
office.
food in bars too. I've
Yeah,
eaten food
I
in
was hungry,
bars.
but I didn't leave me
Yeah.
any money or anything. I didn't have anything. I don't think I
Okay,
even
so
had
your
my purse.
husband came and got you. What was
Yeah,
that about?
he
What
didn't
happened
understand
then?
either. He didn't understand. I said, he says, "What are you doing there?" I said, and I don't know if he asked me, "Where's my
And
car?" or
who
where.
told you to sit there and wait? Who told you that?
The men in black. I don't know what you call them. The men that came to my office to recruit me again
Uh-huh.
in front of James E. Posey of Investigative Services. So we did investigations, and we'd been doing some FBI investigations at the
Mm-hmm.
time, bank robberies,
So
fires,
they set you there. It
farm.
may or may have been this huge coincidence, which I don't buy. But anyway, you're sitting there just when Reagan gets shot, and this ties in with your latest husband, your last husband. We're not going to go into
Yeah.
that right now. We're just going to bookmark that for a future episode. We are going to
Oh,
go
yeah.
into Thomas
Well,
Morris
I'm not
because that's a
denying
huge
things that
story.
happened to me that's not classified. You know, I'm not
Right,
one of
that's
these
not
idiots
classified.
that's
You're
going to talk
sitting in
about
a
classified.
bar.
It's
Some
my
men in
life.
some men in
Yeah.
black. It's your lived experience. Men in black said, "Sit here," and then they all abandoned you. Did they
Yes.
did they say
They
anybody would come
split.
back and get you or
No, I had
nothing?
no intel. I was just sitting
Uh,
there like a dummy. I didn't know if I was going to get shot, interviewed, who I was. You know, I had asked this. I had. They gave me orders, just like a
mhm.
good sailor. You know,
Good
back in the
soldier.
day,
You just sit there and follow
just
orders.
sit and wait. Yeah,
Oh, and so
like a
then,
crazy person.
so do you think they sent your husband, or did you call him somehow?
No, I had. No, I waited after everybody
And
split.
then he just shows up.
And then I don't even remember what happened on the television after I saw him get shot, and
Well,
I don't know if it went
it
off
was a
or
repeat going over and over. Whenever they
is
have
it.
something, they keep showing it from all the angles they have,
I don't know
and
if
they
Ted
interview all
Turner
the
was
witnesses.
around.
Yeah.
I know. I met
Okay.
Ted
So
Turner.
after,
He was alive then.
yeah. So
Turner
after
broadcast.
you got rescued by your first husband, what happened?
I just went home and freaked out a little in my mind, but I didn't discuss it with him. Other than he was real mad at me for him having to come
Well,
get
you were
me.
in Washington at the time. When you
No,
went
I was
home,
in Birmingham, Alabama.
oh, you were in
I wasn't in
Alabama.
Washington.
You told me you went to the temple in Washington.
I did.
How did you get from the temple to Birmingham?
My father brought me back.
Brought you back to Birmingham, and you were in a bar in Birmingham when you saw the shooting.
And I always had a car. I never was without a car. Always, even when I had kids, I had a Volkswagen bus.
Right,
But the ETs, UFO would always be watching. Or
well, that's a basic rule. When you go somewhere, you always have a car so you don't get abandoned. You didn't follow your own advice. You got abandoned. Okay, so you got home. Now, what was the importance of that in your mind? Because it ties in later with your last husband. Go ahead.
I was trying to explain my husband, this is real and it's really important. Mm-hmm. But it was just like, I tied it just like ETs and Bogey 10 o'clock or 12 o'clock high. I think it was 10. Mm-hmm. I mean, I immediately tied it with government and ET and Men in Black and all, all this stuff. But mm-hmm. Steve wouldn't hear of it. He was an engineer, and at the time he was mad because NASA at the time he had to give up his job or something, wound up working at Rust Engineering, and the light company, I think, with his dad. But anyway, they were going through what's called job shopping back then, right. because a lot of the engineers they ran out of government money after right. the guys. I guess the guys spooked them on the moon and told them they couldn't come back for a while. I don't know. That was
they were doing by then. They were doing the space shuttle, right? And
it was all during the Apollo missions. Yeah, 8, 9,
but 85
all the way up to 13.
But they were done with that, and they were in the space. When did we have to look at it? When did the space shuttle program come in? I think that was in the 80s, right? Middle to late. Anyway, I don't have that information.
Well, anyway, this was roughly 1980. All this happened.
Oh, 80. It was 80. Okay, so it's early on.
Maybe right. 81. We'll have to see when Reagan got shot at. Most people can find these points of time and how they relate to me. I'm 70.
When did Reagan
I'm 74 shot. Years old.
Okay, we'll get that information right now. When did Reagan get shot? Oh, we got the internet. Okay, Obama, March 30th, 1981, less than 100 days into his first term. That's when Reagan got
81. Shot. Okay, well, then I know exactly where I was when Reagan got shot. The Holiday Inn, Birmingham, the bar, restaurant, whatever it was, in Birmingham, Alabama, by myself.
Wow.
Set and told to sit there, and they kept telling me something big was going to happen. That's all they said.
Oh, see, so it was.
They would seed it. They would seed it like that.
Somebody knew he was going to get shot. There's a big key.
I know that. Yeah,
bookmark that.
Tom did the investigation on it.
Okay, all right. So we're going to.
It's similar to what you and your husband wrote about
today. Yeah,
on Substack. Similar, but that's all I'm saying. I'm not dropping any names.
No, we'll connect the dots on that later because we'll do a future.
That's a whole nother story.
If you tune into us and we're gonna be back on Saturdays. My apologies. Sometimes life
Mondays,
serves you.
Wednesdays,
they serve you drama, and we had a drama. We had a drama-filled weekend, and we're not going to do the details, but boy, we had drama. So that's why we had to broadcast today.
My daughter got hurt.
No. We're not going to get into details. We're
not telling people.
It was all dark, bad, nasty stuff. We're not going to talk about nasty stuff. It was just personal life. When life is what happens when you're busy making plans. So we will be back on Saturday to the best of our ability. Saturdays. Now we are 49 minutes. I want to briefly go into, and my AI told me keep moving.
Star Trek rehearsal. Okay. Part 3, Marcel Roswell.
Now you all also will probably
interviewed as investigator. Yeah.
Okay. So how did you meet Jesse Marcel the first? So
that was the most dramatic.
The first one was on the left-hand side. Jesse Marcel the second, it was a doctor, and
he was a doctor.
He used to present at conferences, so I kind of met him at a conference.
Yeah,
and then
he was real nice.
He's now doing a circuit. But let's just focus on.
I don't remember meeting the doctor because I didn't go to conferences. I wasn't allowed.
No, I went to 25 years of conferences.
But I learned through you because I could find out anything from you.
Between
but,
two,
but I talked to him on the phone and I Facebooked him, and he sent me pictures. the one in the middle. I did
Oh,
interview
okay.
him. I mean, we conversed. We had a friendship
Right.
because
Oh,
of
good.
Roswell and because of his first dad, right?
Right, because of his dad. Yeah. Okay,
And
so let
there
me
was
see
a
what I have in
Roswell
slides.
connection when I met Jesse Marcel.
Yeah,
But
so they have
he
3 generations of people that are
he was supposed to
on the
have
show.
parts. We knew he had it in his car and in his back seat because certain people in Roswell told us, right, during the
Hmm.
investigation. And so Stanton Friedman and I were both on the investigation. I, very oddly, I must have seen him 1 or 2 times. I can't get the date in my head, but
Right.
I know every time I'd go to somewhere, Stanton Friedman's name would be mentioned. And I'd always say, "Who's Stan?" I say, "Well, I guess I'm going to meet him in the future." And
Right.
he became on our show, right? And he
Right.
became a very good friend.
And that show got deleted by accident. It's like, oh no. So
Yeah,
that's gone unless somebody downloaded it. I know they were available
I
for
don't know.
downloads and
Some of them go on
some,
the national, what is it, National Archives.
yeah.
Stanton's got some on there with Anderson, and some of the people that at Roswell are on the National Archives. I could pull them up for people, but I
Okay,
want
so
them to do it themselves.
tell us how you met Jesse Marcel Sr. Sometimes the AI doesn't really get the real person. They
The
just have a
Navy,
symbolic
the
person.
Navy took me, escorted me, whatever you want to say. About midnight, some men in black show up.
Now,
I
where
was
were
in a
you living
white
at this
van. They're a
time?
black van. Where was I
Yeah,
living?
yeah. What part of the world were
At
you living in?
Camp Pendleton in California.
Okay.
I
So
was
they
brought
show
all the
up
way
in a
across the country.
van, and they send you white vans and black vans, and
Yeah.
they take it. Why did they not let you see where you're going?
No, I was just
No.
told. No, I was just told I was going to meet somebody very important, and Bobby had orders from
Uh-huh.
headquarters, and intel office out of Balboa Hospital area. I don't even know what that was. Something I forgot. We
Hmm.
used to send enlisted there. I used to help with enlisted files and all that here and there. But anyway, okay. So I was escorted. It was around midnight or so. Jesse Marcel was sitting in. It was around Louisiana where he lived, and I was born in Monroe, Louisiana. So, I mean, I just getting out of the van, I could smell the smell. I sort of knew where I was before I ever went in
Uh-huh.
the house.
Wow. Uh-huh.
So I think there was a little bayou or something close by. He used to live in Bayou something, Louisiana, but his kids weren't there. There was nobody there but him. I think he said his wife was in bed, uh, but I can't swear to that in a court of law. But he was sitting there in a wife beater. You know what a wife beater is? Shirt, white T-shirt back then.
A wife beater.
And, yeah, I remember that. And
Why you got a
I
white
think he
shirt, a
was.
wife beater? What's
Yeah,
that? What's that
yeah.
come
It's
from?
that white. It was a back in the day. A lot of men wore those, even in the military.
Right,
Until they
the
went
wife.
to the white, the round circle neck T-shirt, or they'd wear black
Uh-huh.
T-shirts. But it was called a wife beater. And I think for some reason, I remember him with a cup like coffee or something and a cigarette. That's what my
Mm-hmm.
mind tells me. I don't know why, because I guess I didn't smoke. But
Right.
but it seems to be to me that I thought he smoked, but I don't know. Only his kid. I never asked Jesse, or I never asked any of them if they remember if he smoked. Now
Uh-huh.
Jesse Marcel the third used to go fishing with him when he was a
Yeah.
kid.
Well, he might know if he
Eh,
smoked. Yeah.
Yeah, but not that it matters. That was just a Mormon thing. But anyway, it doesn't matter
Uh-huh.
now. So I mean, when I'm walking in, the other men in black come up behind me, and then I walked in the door. But I swear to God, somewhere Stan Friedman's name came up, Stan, and asked if I knew. But he was very suspicious of me. But apparently, they called him or knew or had woken him up earlier to make this me. And so when I was a kid, I thought, well, what am I supposed to do? Because nobody tells me anything, Janet. It's
Right.
just like we meet and look at each other. I'm in his house at midnight, and I don't know why I'm there because they just said I was going to meet somebody important. So I'm sort of like, well, I guess I'm supposed to meet you or something because he's
Mm-hmm.
Like, well, do you know why you're here? He knew what to ask. I didn't. Jesse Marcel did, and I said, well, I don't really. And he says, well, I'll tell you. Is these people think I've got uh, this material hidden in my backyard somewhere, and
Mm-hmm.
he was really intelligent, but he was Louisiana type too, and I was comfortable with the whole situation.
Mm-hmm.
But from what I could gather and psychically pick up from being there is why I was there. I think because I had written maybe extraterrestrial to Center of UFO Studies 75, 76. It was right around the time I got very interested in becoming active with Parker. What was his name in Pascagoula?
Parker.
Yeah, I
Oh,
interviewed him.
oh, that guy. What was his name? He passed recently too, I think.
Yeah, I got to interview him before he had science, cancer, and everything. But Charlie
Yeah,
Parker was
I
that
think,
it?
yeah, I forget. I think we interviewed him together and then separately. Yeah, because we were doing shows
Probably,
together, and
yeah,
yeah.
and him and his friend. I never did get the other guy on the radio show. So, folks, we did our best to keep UFO and AIT in contact on
When the dream talks back.
Shut up. Okay, sorry. That's me. Our
the
outro.
dream talks back. Okay,
That's real outro.
so
But
was it Charlie Parker? I know he was important. I got him with the guy in UK to write his book. I was wanting a book done, but I didn't have the time at the time. But
right.
I liked him a lot.
I'll look it up later. You know.
Anyway,
Okay, so
yeah,
so get back
okay.
to he's got stuff he's hiding. Is that true or not?
Oh, he had some. I know he did. I just knew it. That was my part. Oh yeah, I knew he did.
Did he
Now
show it to you?
oh
Why
no,
did he
the
bring
Men in
that up?
Black were there.
They
He
were
was
there.
supposed to have turned it all in out of his car and out
But
of his trunk.
what were you supposed to do about it? Like, why was he telling you this stuff?
Because I knew it. I don't know how I knew it.
You knew
Extraterrestrials know
it
it.
was true. Are
It
they
was
reading your
okay.
mind because you're a psychic? Are they able to read your mind?
ETs are with me all the time. Yeah,
Right,
pretty
but the Men in
much.
Black, can they read your mind if you're
No,
saying
they
that
just
stuff?
hope. They just hope that I will share what they want me to say. You
Okay,
know, but I don't know if they put me under or what. I don't know. But
yeah,
I did believe what he had some, and he hid it in a coffee can, some part under
right.
his water heater, you know. And I
It's
believed
still
that.
there to this day, except for now they're going to go get it.
No, I think they look. No, I don't know when he died. I don't remember or anything. But no,
Yeah,
it wasn't some. They had pieces. The government had pieces. They knew what it
right.
was.
Yeah, they knew it
It
was.
was like synthetic
They just
intelligence.
wanted to make sure they had all the pieces so nobody could come out.
I don't know
Years later
why.
at
It,
the IUFO Congress in Arizona, what was it called?
oh, let's tell them what it
Fountain
was
Hill.
pieces of. It was
Yeah, it
pieces
was
of the Roswell
craft.
crash. We just take for granted everybody knows what we're talking about.
Yeah, it's a Roswell crash pieces, people.
We
No,
need
when I went
feedback,
to this
Brad
conference,
Marcus.
this guy had a table next to me, and I was busy with my table, and then I go, we're all back up. I go, what is that? He goes, oh, this is a piece of the craft, and he gave it to me, and I'm holding it, and I go,
Oh,
wow,
wait a
yeah, it's
minute.
a piece of the craft,
You ain't
and
gonna believe this, but hold
I
on.
don't know.
I'll be right
Okay,
back. I'm just
she
going right over
disappeared.
here.
Okay, and then
I'm still
but
here.
about
I'm
in
grabbing
the
what Jesse Marcel
in
said.
the late
Uh,
90s when I was on
Jesse
John
Marcel
Mantel.
the third
Yeah,
finally let me see a piece. I mean, I spent my whole life looking for this shit. So excuse me, stuff. So here is a replica. Can you
a replica of the. Yeah, it's hard to tell. We'll have to
can
take
you
a
see
picture
it?
of it. Yeah, yeah, I can see it. So he sent you that to
Yeah,
you,
it's got well, I paid for it,
right?
but it's got little purple. Uh, well, mine is sort of red looking on here.
Right. Yeah.
Uh, but there's supposed to be. I wanted it the way that my mind's eye knew, it was a light purple lavender with lavender hieroglyphics on here.
You're right. Hieroglyphics.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't mind buying it. I mean,
Yeah.
I
That's
sent
cool.
I sent it directly to Jesse Marcel the third because you were asking about all of them. Yes, I
Hmm.
am one of the women that has interviewed all three Marcels because I've been on the same investigation Stanton T. Friedman was on. I
Right.
just was a
From the get
bona fide
go.
investigator at the time and
Right.
was having to fill out investigative reports or
Well, I
confidential.
wanted to finish my little thing there. So I held this stuff, and then as I'm holding it, I flash back to when I was on Johnson Atoll from 95 to
What do you
90.
mean you were holding this stuff? Did you get a
I
you
Well,
got
I don't know. It was a story. I was at a
oh
conference, and the guy said we went back and we found and he had a little piece, and
oh
it
okay.
looked like tinfoil or something, and it's like, and I held it, and all of a sudden I'm getting like psychometry, and I'm getting, oh, because in the late 90s when I was on Johnson Atoll, a friend of mine said that he was talking to a whistleblower, and so this guy sent me a letter, and it was wrapped up in what I thought was tinfoil. But he couldn't say anything. So he sent me, he said, I'm going to show you something that was from the ship, or it's extraterrestrial. Anyway, I didn't realize when he sent me this letter, he had it wrapped up in this tinfoil, but that was the piece of the crap, and it's gone. I mean, that was 20 years ago. That was a long time ago, right? And
Yeah.
but as I was holding it, I went, oh, that's what he was showing me, and I was so stupid. I just like lost this letter. I have no idea. It may have been
What all
tossed for
did
all
you
I
put
know.
on here? Or I did, because
That's
Mac
it.
said
We're out of
time
time.
travel.
We're
Well, we'll
out of
have to
time.
get into the now and how tachyon energy works in the
Yeah.
time travel with phasing and phase spacing. A lot of the things we do, folks, and
Well, we
know,
had
we just
Michael
so hard to
McIntosh
talk
on.
about.
I'm sorry, Mick is in our audience. I don't know if he's still there. We had
Yeah, he wants to talk
Mick.
about time travel.
We can talk with Mick on about time travel. We'll have you on the show in the future.
Do you know him?
Yeah, we've had him on several of our shows, and I
Oh,
think
we
you were
have
on one. I don't know. Like I said,
Macintosh.
we've had
Oh, I
over
remember
12.
him. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's an
so
Apple guy. Macintosh, the Apple guy.
no, he's not an Apple guy. Anyway, we're going to wrap this up now. So,
Oh
any last
no.
words? We're out of time. We're out of time.
Yeah,
But
he's still here.
and, but
Ask him.
we're going to coming back next Saturday.
Let me ask him. Hey, do you remember me? I want to say, type it in there. He says he's
Okay.
still listening. Do you remember me, TJ? Were you on any of the TJ Morris ET radio shows
I think in here, yeah.
since 2007? UFO Digest and shows or Revolution Radio with Mike
I'm pretty sure we had a conversation the three
or
of us.
Mad Painter?
Like I said, we've done over 1,200 shows, and we forget who we talked
He
to.
says he remembers everything.
Oh, good.
Well, but does he remember being on a show with me, not just Janet, Mike? Is it Mick? What's it,
Mick,
Michael?
Michael, I think.
Michael McIntosh. Did you and I do a show, Mike, Mick McIntosh?
Michael.
Can you
I'm
hear
asking
me?
him in the thing here.
I can see what you're writing on the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just need to know because I've seen Mick J. McIntosh.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing Brad
Mick and I have
Marcus.
been friends
Brad's
for
been on our
years.
shows.
And we're friends.
Well, he says yes, so I guess he did. He says he
Well,
remembers.
we'll talk about that later. I'm
Good,
going to
he's
have
got
to
a good
wrap this
memory.
show up because it's the end of the line
Well,
here.
invite Brad back too. Let's get Macintosh and Brad Marcus on
we'll
the
talk
show.
to
We'll interview people.
Mick and Brad, and we'll do some panels. I like panels.
Yeah, and do some biopics.
We can have up to 10 people on a show, so we can do some panels. So
if you come on this show, we can get you
right to
on
us
the next
and email
show.
me. Yeah.
Well, because they didn't get to ask questions, so we can say,
all right,
okay, we'll build the Wednesday show or the Friday show based on who wants to join us. Oh, let's show them the card. Don't go yet. We want to show you all the membership card.
Oh, where is that? You didn't have that. You have this.
Yeah,
well, this is the picture of THeresa. We've lost the original. See, there's THeresa in military down there on the left-hand side. Very beautiful young Teresa. There she
and the girl
was in
and the lady
military.
with white. And okay, now let me
Right.
take that down, and I'll get. Now what we're doing is we're going to take
Now I'm
the
going to
old.
remove that, and you're going
Yeah,
to
let me remove from
real
studio.
quickly, and then we're going to do the outro because I'm going to have to go.
Okay, image file.
Sorry, life
I just hope I
calls.
can pull it up. Okay,
Okay,
there it is.
you had a couple of minutes. Pull it up. You had a minute, 30
Okay.
seconds, 10 seconds, 5 seconds.
Now, Brad Marcus already has this ET pin. Where'd it go?
Right.
Okay,
Here we go.
can you pull it up?
Okay, there we go.
Okay,
So
Brad's out there. Brad
got
Marcus.
the ET pin.
I told him that ET Talk TV would be a collector's item, you know, because it's pre-disclosure. So up there in the corner, he has a lapel pin, and they cost me with buying the.
Yeah, but there's none of them left, right?
Well, they're about $10 a piece, but I've got only a few. But I got to mail you one, Janet. You know, because
that's good.
you helped us get started. And
Well,
also this UFO Association, UAP Associates, has a pin too. I can't grab one right now, but
no.
yeah, but they're about $10 a piece, and they cost us $8 with because we have to have them made, and we had to make the mold, and we only made the short run 50 each. So the first time was a limited edition. But we're going to, if you want to join the UFO Association, the membership is going to go towards the pins we're buying, paying for it in Las Vegas,
Anyway,
and then they send it out of country. But we're going to make these press passes. If you have to get in the press line, but you have to only report to me and Janet.
Right. We want your story so we can promote it far and wide.
Yeah. So we've got the American Communication Online is a real deal. It's a holding company for all kind of communications.
Okay, we're going
Are we leaving now?
End the show. Yes, because I have to go. Now let's see if I get the volume up.
They stand as equal co-hosts and experiencers in a shared field of contact.
I guess we're leaving now.
Exploring dreaming.
We are leaving.
Travel,
so
memory,
we want to thank
we don't know
everybody.
when we're coming back. When are we
no,
coming
we're
back?
coming back Saturdays.
We're not going to come back Monday, Thursday, Friday.
No, I can't come this Monday. I've got somebody coming.
All right, just as we can. We'll have a panel too.
No, this is Monday. No, we're not coming back next Monday.
Are we coming back Wednesday for
Saturdays? Saturdays. We'll talk about maybe Wednesday, but I've got to play with my schedule.
All right. Well, have Mike and Tosh get in touch with you and Brad Marcus. Have you contacted Brad yet? Is he on your?
No, but I would like to just say thank you for coming on this show.
You're welcome.
And thank you everybody for joining us in the chat. And we will be bringing you more shows.
Lucid awareness gives the traveler
we're going to keep doing this
until we become these beautiful people that are on the screen.
Right. We're going to get into the regen machine, and they'll take us back to what we looked like that. And that's what we looked like at our youth. We were both pretty ladies. And
we were beautiful, both of us.
Yeah, we had scenery. Yeah,
I was a brunette with hazel eyes.
Yeah, we've got you.
5'11". I'm 5'10" now. I shrunk.
Yeah.
But it's okay. We're still human. We're still alive.
We're human.
We're still doing our best.
And we're ET hybrids.
Yeah. But look at these handsome men showing up. You know, this is great.
Temples,
yeah.
ships, and telepathic downloads.
Anyway,
the sleep state may offer
I'm going to end this now, but let's play this out. And Teresa, what's your final words to our listeners?
Join us on Facebook and hybridgenies.com, which we're going to get a membership set up, right, Janet?
For
our show. These days, if I can figure it out.
I'll have to do it on TJ Mars ET Talk or the UAP Association.
And
but just decide.
And my website is dragonattheendoftime.com. Dragonattheendoftime.com.
Yeah, if you just want to see, mine's tjmarsagency.com and ACO Association.com.
And I also have enkispeaks.com, which is the Anunnaki site, ENKISPEAKS.com. And I also have a Substack. And Teresa has a Substack. So come and join us on Substack.
Palaces, councils,
So,
Yeah.
and star
T.J.
lineage
Morris
roles
or
become
Teresa
part
J.
of
Morris, I
remembered
don't even know.
night work.
T.J. Morris,
Dimensional stations
ACIR,
operate across linked
Allied
frequency
Command
bands
Intergalactic
and shared
Relations, if anybody's
functions,
interested.
weaving together
All
a
right,
tapestry
so
of
folks, I guess
existence
this
that
is,
stretches far
wish we
beyond
could have
what
done
human
thank
more.
consciousness
you.
can
We'll
We will
get,
easily
do more
contain.
next week. We'll
At
do a
the
little bit every
threshold of
week. If
disclosure,
we get another
artificial
day clear in the
intelligence,
calendar, we'll do
robots,
one
androids,
midweek.
yeah, because we're
clones,
doing it live,
cyborgs,
and
and
AI says
hybrids
our
break
content
down older
matters
categories of mind.
because they only
Right.
know what's
Synthetic
already in
awareness
the
may already be
in
familiar
out
to
there,
those who
written in our
remember ships
books
and
and our radio
interdimensional
shows
installations.
and on our former
Biological, synthetic,
blogs and
hybrid,
domains.
hive
But
mind,
the
and
ones, if we took them
interdimensional
down or they
presences
took them
now
down, are
meet at
gone
one
forever.
threshold.
Yeah, but
Sad.
we still have a
Humanity
lot
is
left.
learning to
I have a
converse with
YouTube,
otherness through AI as well as through
AquarianMedia.com.
night
No,
contact.
Aquarian Media,
Yet a technically
YouTube.
brilliant
And
civilization
which
can
YouTube is
still
your
remain
primary YouTube
emotionally
that
and
you have,
spiritually
Teresa?
TJ Marsh
underdeveloped.
Show.
Outer intelligence
TJ Morris
expands
Show.
while
Yeah,
inner
Okay.
it got
awareness
American
is only
Communications
beginning to
Online.
awaken.
It's so hard to say through
Satellites,
three different,
surveillance,
huge, but I
robotics,
got
and
that
artificial
intentionally.
intelligence
But it
cannot
doesn't
replace
fit very
empathy,
well on
discernment,
a lot
and the
of
human
webs.
heart.
It's too
The
long.
outer AI
So
revolution
I
and
shortened
the
it
inner
to ACO
awakening may
Club.
become parallel
But
rehearsals of
Good.
disclosure.
if they're psychic, we can
Waking
put them
life
on
is
our
only
psychic
one
channel
band within a
YouTube.
wider
We have a
ecology
psychic
of sleep,
network channel.
lucidity,
Or is it
travel, and
psychic
contact.
channel network? No, it's
Disclosure
psychic.
may arrive
Yeah,
through
psychic
dreams,
channel.
ships,
Shit.
downloads,
Psychic channel network.
documents,
We have a
AI,
YouTube.
and the
We have
figure
so
who
many
recognizes
YouTubes.
us.
We are
Janet
so
and
out
THeresa
there in
stand
media
together at
world
the
and meta
threshold of
world
many
and
channels of
social
revelation.
media. And I have
Reality has more
thousands of
levels than we
YouTubes over 20
All
years.
right. So that's the end of it. Thank you. Yay. We will see you next Saturday and maybe in between. I'll let you know. Pay attention to our Facebook and we'll
Well, can't
let you
they
know.
email you? Can't they
Email
you?
me at janetlesson@gmail.com.
Yeah.
JANETLESSIN@gmail.com.
And
I
I'll
will
start
talk to you. And what's your email, Teresa?
TJ Marsh Agency, AGENCY at Gmail.
Okay,
TJ
good.
Marsh Agency at Gmail.
All right. Well,
Real
I'm going to
easy.
go now. I've got to go make some lunch. So
Oh, I've got
yeah,
TJ Marsh Show at iCloud if they're on
at
Apple.
iCloud. Okay,
Yeah, I
so
had
write to
Android,
us.
now I have Apple.
Tell us about your story. We'd like to
Yes.
have you on, maybe individually or a panel.
That's what we've been
So-
doing for 20 years, is helping people. And before that, even in Hawaii. But we were
Right.
still on our spiritual path. So, we're
on it all
we're trying to
along.
get our stuff online and in the AI field. So you need to do that. Either write a book or write
Do
up
something.
on GitHub or on a YouTube. Do something to get your story out there. If not, we'll do
All
it for
right.
you.
Well, I've got to go now. I'll talk to you later. Love and blessings, everybody.
Talk
Thanks
to
for
you
joining
later.
us. Aloha.
Bye, Janet.
Bye.